Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dan from DHTV, and today I've got another fitness band review, and that is the FitBit Charge. This is it right here, and I'm going to be going through the pros and cons with this band to help you guys decide if this is a band that's going to help you achieve your weight loss or fitness goals, or if this is a band that just doesn't work. Let's get started. Alright, so this right here is the FitBit Charge, and I went ahead and placed a link in the description down below so you can check out more reviews as well as full specifications, colors, and sizes, and if you want to pick one up, you'll even get the price, so you can check that out at any time during this video. But to kick things off, let's go through some of the physical features of the band, how it's going to feel on your wrist, and some of the specifications that you should know. For starters, this comes in 3 sizes, so you can get it in a small size, which is what I'm wearing right here. You can get it in large, and if you have a larger wrist, you can pick up an extra large, but that's only available online. Now, in terms of the exact sizes of the 2 bands, if you're going to purchase the small size band, then you're going to have a wrist that's between 5.5 and 6.7 inches. If you're going the large route, your wrist would need to be between 6.3 inches and 7.9 inches, so there's a little bit of overlap. And actually on the box, if you're ever in store, you can actually check that right here. You just put your wrist up to this sort of sizing chart here and you can choose the band that's right for you. Unfortunately, it didn't work out too well for me because I ended up choosing the small size band and I'm on the last clasp, so I can't even connect both clasps. But that's not that bad because it still fits very comfortably and it hasn't fallen off, and I've used it in many different situations. So that kind of shows that this band here has a really good connection feature, and it's not really going to fall off that easily. It's not going anywhere and it's fairly secure. Now, as for the battery life of this band, it's fairly good. You can get up to 7 days, maybe even up to 10 days, depending on how many times you check it, how you use it, and things like that. I've been able to get 7 days, no problem with this band, and it takes about 2 hours to charge, which is nice as well, so you're not going to be charging it all day just to get it back on. So that's a good thing. It's also water resistant, up to 1 ATM, so that means you can wash your hands, you can technically shower and things like that with it, although I wouldn't recommend doing this because that means water still has a chance of getting in. It shouldn't, but it could. And I've actually tested this. I've taken showers with it. I've also ran a tap right over it and it still works, but this is just because I'm trying to show you guys a review. I wouldn't actually do this if I wasn't reviewing the band. So take that into consideration. It's water resistant, not waterproof. Rain, things like that, sweat, you're not going to hurt it. But if you do decide to go swimming or if you take a bath, you may cause some damage to the band. Now, as for the band itself, it's made of a very flexible, durable material here that's used in many other smartwatches and smart bands. It also has a stainless steel clasp here, which is nice, so you're getting premium quality materials. As for the screen, it's very bright and vibrant. That's because it's using an OLED display. In terms of syncing this, it's very simple. It either syncs up to your computer via Bluetooth 4.0 or your smartphone, and it actually can sync up to 120 different smartphones, including the iPhone and many Android devices. You'd have to check online if you're running an Android device to see which ones are actually compatible with this particular band, but a lot of them, and a lot of the more popular ones, would be. In terms of use, you're going to get 7 days, as I said, of battery life, but also 7 days of tracking, so it'll have a 7-day memory, so if you don't sync this up with your smartphone, with the application, or with the computer app, you'll still be able to have everything saved on the device and then sync it up whenever you do have a chance within those 7 days. So in terms of the physical feel, look, and the design and everything, it's really nice, and those are all pros. Everything I've gone through, they're all pros to the band. The one downfall I would say is the sizing and the sizing chart. As I said, it does have that nice sizing chart right here. I would have preferred if they actually labeled it with the specific sizes, because had they had done that, I would have probably purchased the large band and not be in this situation where I have this clasp that's not connecting to both of the clasp holders here. So that's just one thing, but it's not a big deal because the band does hold very well. Very small con, and now that I've given you guys the actual specifications on the small and large sizes, this shouldn't be an issue for you guys anyway. So I've been using this band for about 2 weeks now, and I've taken it to the gym, I've taken it to hockey, I've taken it to work, and I've pretty much used it in my everyday life. So In terms of tracking, how accurate is it? Now, it does have a step calculator here, which will track the amount of steps that you take. It's very good at tracking your steps when you're taking the steps. So if you take one step, it generally will track one step. If you're taking two steps, it's generally going to track two steps. Where the band falls off is when you're doing other things. So for example, driving. The band does track steps while you're driving. It does track steps while you're typing. It does track steps as I'm making this video and moving around. I started this video and I've already got 195 steps just sitting here moving my hands around. And that might not be a big deal because if you can actually see a rhythm or sort of a pattern in how your day goes, you're still going to see the days that you do more. So it's going to be good for motivation. But in terms of tracking accurate steps and movements and activities, it's a little bit off. So keep that in mind if that's something that's very important to you. You're not going to get 100% accurate tracking, but you can work around this because of the in-app abilities to type in what you've done at specific periods of time. So for example, when I work out at the gym, I tend to do about 10 minutes of cardio at the beginning just to warm up. Then I do some muscle training, whether it be legs, upper body, things like that. And what I'll do is I'll just track that by implementing weights for the specific time in the application, also my cardio time within the application. And depending on how it measures and estimates this, it'll implement that in and give me a better tracking of what I've done. Unfortunately, this is not something I want to be doing all day. So if I'm going for a drive or if I'm typing on the computer, I don't want to have to keep track of all this stuff. So similarly to the Fitbit Flex, where the app was heavily needed to actually get a lot of tracking done, this isn't so much heavily needed, but it is almost like a 50-50 thing. So you're basically going to need to implement a lot of things just so that you can get a better tracking feel and ability with the band. So if you're not very fond of implementing a lot of things into an application or on your computer, or for example, you don't have that luxury of doing that, you don't have a smartphone or you just don't have the time, this might be a little bit of a make or break decision. As for what you'll see on the band's OLED displays as follows. First off, you'll be able to see the time. You'll be able to track the amount of steps you've walked, the distance you've traveled, the floors you've climbed, the calories you've burned, and then your active minutes, which is basically any high activity movement. So if you're running, you're working out, if you're doing anything like that, it should be able to track that. Now, in terms of the active minutes, I find that it doesn't work very well because it's going to probably be tracking what I'm doing right now as active minutes because I'm moving it a lot. And then when I go to the gym, unless I implement that I've done weights, for some reason, if I work out for an hour doing weights, it only tracks like 15 minutes of active minutes. So that's kind of odd. And I don't understand exactly how the active minutes process works, but I find it to be very inaccurate. So that's pretty much a con with that feature. But it's still nice that it's there. You can kind of get a feel, so I know that an hour of working out is only worth 16 minutes. So if I do even harder, maybe I can get more minutes of active minutes on the band. Now, my favorite feature with this band is the sleep tracking ability and the automatic feature that it has. With the Fitbit Flex, you'd have to tap the device a bunch of times to get it to activate the sleep mode. With this band, it automatically tracks when you fall asleep. It also tracks when you're restless and when you wake up through the night. And I find this to be very accurate in my case because I do have some issues sleeping. I tend to stay awake very late until I fall asleep, and then when I have to wake up early for work, I find myself being very restless and tired. So I usually think I sleep 6 hours a night, even though I'm probably not. And in terms of this band showing me what I've been doing and how I've been sleeping, I can see that I'm not really sleeping very well. As you can see here, I was pretty much awake almost all night and went to sleep at around 5 something in the morning. It was New Year's, so that's, understandable. But as you can see through my pattern, I haven't been sleeping well the last few days. I've been going to sleep very late, haven't been able to fall asleep, and when I do, I'm not getting much sleep, and I'm getting sleep in different times. So I'm waking up, I'm awake for a while, doing different things, and then I fall asleep again because I'm tired. And had I had to work through this holiday week, these weeks, I'd be in trouble. And maybe that's the case, but I've been using this. It's been very accurate, and I find that the days where it shows that I haven't slept many hours are the days where I feel the most tired. And had I not seen the actual hours here, I wouldn't be too concerned. But right now, I'm really trying to get on a better sleeping schedule because this is not good. You want to get your 6 to 8 hours of sleep every day, at least, so that you can be alert and ready to go. So that's something I really like about this band, and I find that it's a really important feature, and it might get overlooked because most people think that working out and being healthy is the first thing you need to do, but nutrition is important, sleep is important, and I'm really happy that this incorporates that as well. Back into the app here, you can see it does sync via Bluetooth 4.0, so every time you connect it, as long as you're connected to Bluetooth and set up correctly, it should sync. You can see your steps, you can see the kilometers you've traveled, the calories burned, the floors you've climbed, the active minutes, and then you can track your exercises, and you can see that it says 0 pounds to go because I haven't set up a goal yet. Now you can set up goals to lose weight or to stay the same, and I want to kind of stay around the 165 range because I'm trying to convert my fat into muscle, so burn off the fat, put on muscle, and sort of stay the same weight. I know it does take longer this way, but I'd rather do it in that fashion. So that's what I'm doing. But if you set up a goal to lose weight, it's going to modify the amount of calories you have left, the calories you've eaten, and things like that as well. And you can see how many calories I've eaten today, so 480 calories. And let's say I clicked on that and I wanted to add more food to my daily activity or what I'm eating, I would just hit the plus. I could type in a food, I can go through the frequent foods, I can customize and add in a food with the nutritional facts that are maybe labeled. This is great, but again, this is making this application almost more valuable than the band itself, because this stuff that you're adding in right here is all estimated through the app. So you could do this without the band and still get a tracking idea of how many calories you're supposed to burn in a day and how many you've eaten, and basically get some kind of estimate that way. So it's kind of, hit and miss here. You have the band for motivation, but in terms of all the tracking and more advanced stuff, the application is where it's at. Moving down, we have calories left. So you can see I only have a certain amount of calories left to eat for the day, and that's fine because I do have a limit. And as you work out and add things to it, this will either extend or decrease. If you don't do a lot of moving that day, you're going to notice that you have eaten more calories than you've burned, which means you need to get up and get moving, because the more calories you eat or take in and don't burn off, that means more fat and more weight you're going to put on. So you want to try to burn more calories than you're eating if you're trying to lose weight, and if you want to just sort of maintain, you want to kind of keep it at that even level and basically leave it at that. You also have a tracking feature here for water. So you can see I drink a lot of water, so I'm going to add in all the water I drank today. So I've drank in about 6 of the 500 milliliter bottles. I kind of just refill them and then pour them into water bottles and things like that using a Brita or something. So I've drank about 6 of them, so we'll go ahead and implement that. So you can see right here, it's added them in, and you can see the little man is filling up, and that looks cool. You've also got challenges here, which is really nice, so you can set up holiday hero goals, daily showdown, weekend warrior, and if you've added your friends, you can add them in and sort of have competitions and sort of see how they're doing. This is also a great way to get motivation, and then obviously in your account section, you can set up your goals, your exercise tracking, advanced settings, and various things like that. So that is the band and its features and everything that you can do with it in a nutshell. But in terms of how useful is this thing, that's going to be dependent on your goals. So for me, I work out a lot. I play hockey once a week. I work out 4 to 6 times a week for about an hour each time. I work at a job where I'm doing a lot of lifting as well. So I'm pretty active, and I find that this band just doesn't do it for me. I find that I'm too advanced for what this band can do. So I'll be reaching 10,000 plus steps in a day, and I know I haven't done 10,000 plus steps. It's just my movement, my activity is just moving so much that it's getting me to those step ranges just because it's on my wrist. And a lot of people say, well, why don't we connect it to the ankle, because then it won't be moving as much because it's on your ankle. You can try that, but that's not what this band was made for. It's made for the wrist, and they're promoting it as a band for the wrist, so it should work as a fitness tracking wristband. I find that this band is going to be something that's extremely useful for people who are trying to lose weight, who are trying to get on a fitness goal or on a fitness plan, because it's very hard to stay motivated, and having something like this is definitely going to help. So I would recommend that for you if you're trying to get started, if you're trying to lose weight, if you need some help, if you need some motivation. This, combined with the app, combined with the computer app, you're going to find yourself at least seeing that you're not doing certain things or that you need to do more, and it'll get you going. And then eventually you'll probably move past a band like this and either need a more advanced, more expensive band, or you'll be able to track everything on your own. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. That was my review of the FitBit Charge fitness band. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely hit the like button and subscribe. I've also got more reviews coming up. We've got the Jawbone Up 24 coming up next. I'm going to unbox that and give you guys a full review as I did with this band and the other bands in the very near future. So definitely subscribe to the channel and hit that like button if you're interested in more videos like this. Feel free to ask if you have any questions. Also, if you want to buy one of these, there is a link in the description down below. I've also got a link down below of the full setup, so how you would connect this band to your computer and set it up with your smartphone. You can check that out. All the links are in the description down below. All my information is down below. You can see my Twitter, my Google+, follow me, talk to me, anything. I'm always here to help, and I answer every comment that comes my way. Thanks again for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.